roach, marijuana, little bud, nip.
People are down in central booking right now with possession of marijuana charges.
First time I could see the DA giving them a break, because you don't want to ruin a kid. Because once you ruin him now, he's on another road.
To me, it doesn't make any sense to be arresting somebody over marijuana.
Marijuana is like the new cigarette. Like, if you ain't smoking weed, as they say, 420 friendly. Like, if you ain't down,
At first arrest and conviction for that $5 bag or $10 bag or $20 bag of marijuana now disqualifies that young adult from a multitude of employment opportunities, from a multitude of educational opportunities. That's probably why there's such an aggressive push to decriminalize small quantities of marijuana, because of the effect that it has had on, young adults thus far.
So this is not something that is up for discussion, where they have to bring an individual down to the precinct to be able to do that. They're supposed to be able to issue a ticket, a summons right on the spot.
It's a step in the right direction. It's a step in the right direction. But I also think that just not prosecuting them is not enough.
I mean, ever since the man brought that big bag of weed out and showed it up, telling them it's okay long as you ain't smoking it, but it's all right. It's like, how can I put it? It's a catch-22. That's a catch-22. You tell them it's all right as long as they smoke it, but it ain't all right to sell it. It shouldn't be all right to smoke it.
Some folks have seen stuff in the newspaper and say, "Oh yeah, so now weed, now weed is they can't arrest me." But what we are getting out to them is that there's a flip side to it. You can get a summons, and then you have to find money. We live in an impoverished community, and where the median income is only a little over $30,000, and there's a big portion of our community that is unemployed. Based on that, I can truly say that there are a lot of folks that are probably most likely not paying the summonses and are probably being arrested.
I mean, if you're going to give them a summons and a warning, and that's a warning, I think that's okay. I don't think they're making them hardened criminals. But if you're going to arrest them and give them a record, well, once you put one stamp on their record, now they say, well, I got a record now. Why don't I try something and make better money? Why don't I deal it instead of just using it? Cops aren't doing much about it. On my 21st birthday, I was appointed a police officer, and I was stationed in the 79th precinct in Bedford-Stuyvesant. I was just a regular patrol cop working a radio car. I didn't do anything special except police work on the street.
There's a lot of rookie officers who don't know nothing about East New York. I had no experience of dealing with a community like ours.
They're not familiar with the business owners. They're not familiar with the points of people being on corners and where the hot spots are.
They come out here and it's like they think it's the Wild Wild West.
The recent police department put too much pressure on these young cops to go out there and use this stop and frisk. They were keeping numbers and they were recording how many they had to do, and they were giving them quotas. They'll tell you they weren't, but they call it productivity now.
What I would like to see is a vehicle put in place to support the decriminalization of marijuana. Something that looks like, okay, so we're decriminalizing it, and now those young kids that are using, let's create tailored drug treatment programs specifically for marijuana. My program goes into middle schools and high schools in urban communities, and we teach kids how not to be drug dealers, how not to be gangbangers. The criminalization of marijuana and the aggressive push with regards to incarcerating these kids for small quantities of marijuana disqualifies them for any bona fide position that would give them the responsibility of reaching back into the community to help people like them. You're looking at an example of that. Going to prison, first becoming a product of the streets, being a drug dealer out here, shooting people, doing all of that stuff out here, and going away to prison. And then turning my life around, to be able to turn my life around and go to college and get as many college degrees as I have, and to become the person that I am today, and then to be afforded the opportunity to come right back to my neighborhood. Oh man, that's a humbling experience, man. I just can't help but to think that something that the city can't control, the city of New York and all its grandeur, all its power, can't control the distribution of marijuana. So how do you charge kids with the responsibility of this is something that's going to damn your fate when it's something that you can't control? How do you do that?